You might know her from Facts of Life,
Dancing with the Stars, The Division, countless Lifetime television movies. So the thing that I want to talk to you about this week is something that I've been sitting on for a little bit. It's something that I am jealous of that you have been doing in this new year of ours, and that is the fact that you have been regularly seeing a chiropractor.
Yeah, it really has changed things for me.
I'm insanely jealous because it seems like it's given you great physical relief. You seem like you go, it's a very cheap copay for you. You found this person, they pop your body, they massage you, they heat you. I don't know what else they do to you. They acupuncture you. You get a lot of treatment for your cheap copay. And I have been wanting to go to a chiropractor my entire life, but I have this thing in my head that I was never able to go because when I was born, the doctor told me that I had loose joints. And I have been terrified to go to a chiropractor ever since I heard that. It was like something, you know, like Natalie Wood's mom told her to like beware dark water. I feel like my parents told me to like beware the chiropractor.
Wait, Natalie Wood's mother told her to beware of dark water?
Yeah, her mother went to a soothsayer who told her that her daughter, her youngest daughter, would die in dark water. And so she told her from a young age that she should beware dark water. So that was why she was terrified of water for her entire childhood, her adult life, and then, of course, why her death is all that more tragic because she died in water. If you listen to the podcast about the death of Natalie Wood, the name escapes me right now. We'll put it in the show notes. Actually, what I found out was that most likely Natalie Wood had perished before she hit the water. The facts all point to the fact that she was killed before she went into the water.
Oh my God, I have tears in my eyes.
Starting us off light today.
It's terrible.
We can talk about Natalie Wood for this entire podcast, but I will navigate us back to the chiropractor.
The chiropractor, it's interesting that you say that. I did get a message today from my insurance wondering if my injury was an injury or if not. So I have to go and talk to them about it. So
if you need me to break your kneecap, I'm happy to do it.
I think it was an injury as such that I woke up. I've been sleeping, like my neck, I've been having a lot of issues with. So
it's a sleep-related injury.
Yeah, exactly.
You should tell your insurance that.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Well, if you want to refer me to your chiropractor, I feel like I might try it and then report back here on my findings.
It's a great idea.
I've wanted to go my whole life, but usually I just go to Renew Day Spa in Chinatown and get an hour-long massage with a paper towel under my body.
Yeah, God, I love it.
That works too.
Yeah, there you go. I guess with that said...
Smooth as silk.
I'm a real Meredith Vieira here.
I love her.
Me too.
For the record, podcast listeners, we are huge Vieira fans, and I'd have her on the show because I feel like, has acted enough things.
She's for sure a performer.
Yeah, she is.
Her as the queen when they did the royal family on a Today Show Halloween.
Oh my God!
She played the queen Queen Elizabeth, and she was wonderful.
I know people love Katie Couric, but I'm going to tell you, I'm here for the 5 years that Meredith Vieira was co-host because she kept fucking sick old Matt Lauer in check.
I like them both for
Me too. I like
reasons.
Couric's great on Instagram. Check out her Instagram. She is living a very pure existence online.
Speaking of television icons, I want to introduce our interview this week. It was a real joy, and it was someone I think that we both grew up admiring in a way.
Maybe identifying with.
Yeah, I think that's for sure it.
We were so excited to sit down and chat with her, so please enjoy our interview with Nancy McKeon.
We're here with the television icon,
Dancing with the Stars alum,
Nancy McKeon. Thank you for being here with us.
Sure. This is exciting. I've never done one of these before, so this is all brand new. Look at all the equipment.
Oh, good. Yeah, we're really teching out for you here today.
We are not good at technology, so it feels good to I saw the look in your eye when you saw us pull all that stuff out, and I thought, well, we fooled somebody.
No, I think it's actually great. Today, I think, has been my day of seeing amazing things. I was just at the New York Stock Exchange, and so being on the floor and seeing all of that, and remembering back to the days where everybody was throwing paper and there was paper everywhere and yelling and screaming, and So I was told there used to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 6,000 people on the floor, and now there's about 800.
Really?
And yet you go in there and there's all of this technology that's going on there. So it's kind of amazing. And in the same breath, I think that chaos, you can see some of the guys that have been there forever miss a little bit of that adrenaline. It's probably why they started to begin with.
Yeah.
Probably.
You're a New York native, though. Are you back in the city for the first time in a while, or?
No, I come back and forth all the time. I have family. They're out in Queens and Long Island.
You were born and grew up in Long Island before?
No, I was born at Long Island Jewish Hospital.
Beautiful.
We lived in Westbury for 2 years out there in Long Island, and then on Long Island. Jerry Seinfeld does a whole.
Right.
It's not in, it's on.
You're on it.
And then we lived in Queens. Yeah.
Okay.
We're a Forest Hills girl.
Do you consider
nice.
yourself a New Yorker?
Not the gardens. I aspire to. Yeah, of course.
I wasn't sure because from what I've read and researched, you moved to LA when you were 14 or 13. So I wasn't sure if you were like, I'm an LA girl.
Oh gosh, no. No.
Okay,
no,
good,
no,
good.
no. New York will always be a home to me. It's home. That's what I associate it with.
Oh,
so
good. I love that.
Gosh, this is one of the best cities in the world. I'm so lucky. I feel so privileged. I've been able to travel a lot, through work. And my dad had a travel agency in Sunnyside growing up, so we got to travel through his work. But there's no place like New York City. There's just no place like New York City. So
That's how we feel.
Yeah.
I was in Astoria for 8 years, and then Damian and I actually had a 3-month stretch where we lived in the same apartment. So I think it was the closest that we ever would get to sitcom living.
yeah, how'd that work out for y'all?
It was beautiful. We were in the same building.
Right. We were not ever
Not
roommates.
the same
Okay.
apartment. So it was sort of a Will and Grace situation where you were upstairs and I was downstairs, and we would just get together for, coffee in our pajamas, which we thought was very glamorous.
Did you have the bistro outside?
Oh,
Was it
absolutely.
just Jack's
Yeah.
Bistro
Yeah.
outside? And
Yeah.
was it as funny?
It was as funny, but it was a little grimmer because my landlord, Efatihia Sambucas, just really did not clean the whole building. So one morning I woke up and there was just a dead bird outside my doorstep. And I don't mean on the stoop, I mean inside the building, outside my door. So, less glamorous than TV would have probably.
And probably smaller, I
Yeah,
would imagine.
much.
Not as roomy
Yeah.
as the Will and Grace.
And I sublet a room in that building from an actor that we didn't know, and they had rejection letters posted all on their wall. I think as motivation, but it was a grim thing. It was a dark room to live in because
When he let the room to you, like when he subletted it, he didn't take any of his things down. So it was all this, it was like a dream board, but it was full of rejections.
I've been doing this a long time. I don't think I ever got a letter. And nobody took the time to write me a letter. Now I just feel just sad for me.
Right.
Nobody wrote me a rejection letter.
Yeah.
Out in LA, actually, there's a great little spot called Residuals. So you could go in there and take the lowest residual check that you get, and they'll give you a free drink, and they put it up on the wall.
Oh, that's
So
brilliant.
It's wonderful. So I did go in there with I got a check for 2 cents. And so,
do you remember what it was for?
oh gosh, no. Back in the day, I did a lot of voices for cartoons and things like that. It might have been for one of those.
Oh, that's
or something
amazing. I
like
love that
But
idea.
I just thought it was brilliant to have a bunch of broke, sad actors with their measly
Right.
residual checks that have probably been held too long
Yeah.
somewhere. And people
that's
don't
so
realize that that's, it's what you live off of when you're, between jobs. And if there's a stretch between jobs, you need those residual checks, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you just really need the free drink.
Right. Either way will
Because
work. Yeah.
You've only made 2 cents that week, and you need somebody to make it bigger than it
Oh,
is.
God, that's so good.
So you are just finished Dancing with the Stars. You fractured your foot.
And me. There were several stars, and then I don't know, they left the door unlocked.
I was thinking about this morning that you probably have been asked to do a lot of things over the course of time, like reality shows and Dancing with the Stars and things like of that nature. Lisa, your co-star from Facts of Life, did Survivor, and I think Mindy has done a couple cooking things, and Kim Fields did Dancing with the Stars, but also did Real Houses of Atlanta, which is a whole other monster. But then this year you decided to do Dancing with the Stars. Were you holding out? What made this the right time to do something like this?
I don't know, honestly. I don't even know if it was the right time. Well, obviously not, because I'm broken. I read a piece that Shonda Rhimes wrote. She made it into a book
Her
about
year
the
of
year of
yes.
saying yes, and how that can change so much in your life in a variety of ways. I don't know what made me pause this time. Yes, I'm grateful. I've been asked to do quite a few things. Reality's just never been, I'm an actor. I love that veil. I don't know. I didn't want to think about it too much, because if I thought about it, I would have absolutely said no. Terror would have gripped me and would have said, well, what are you thinking? What's wrong with you? And I was struck by Kim Fields and her bravery. She was really brave. So was Lisa, survivor. I mean, my goodness. Oh, I'd never do that in a million years. The word parasites that's terror-inducing. She was just so brave out there and beautiful. And gosh, Sasha was her partner, and he's just a lovely dancer. And so I talked to her a little bit.
Yeah, what advice did she give you?
She just said, go for it. She's, and as it turns out, I was traveling with my family. And we were in Boston, and we had gone at my daughter's request, which is also another terrifying thing. We had gone to see MIT, the campus of MIT. When she plunked down her backpack in front of the physics building and raised her hands and said, I'm going here, I thought, all right. Yeah. No, oh, my God. I don't even know what it costs to go to MIT. So fortunately, I have some time before that could potentially happen.
Right, put those residual checks in there.
Right, I should have kept that 2 cents. Right? It would have multiplied.
That's MIT money.
In any case, we were in the gift shop, and I saw a magnet, and I have no idea why I bought this magnet, but they were picking out T-shirts and hats and all kinds of things, and the magnet said something that hit me. And so when I finally was talking with Kim, and I said, I need some sage advice, dear friend. She sent me back a text, and she sent me a picture of a mug that she had been drinking from. And she said, I drank from this mug every morning, and I actually bought Sasha a candle that said the very same thing on it. And I looked at the picture of the mug, and I started laughing hysterically. And I took a picture of my magnet that I'd put on the fridge, and I sent it back to her. And they were the same quote. Which is,
come on,
it's crazy. Hand to God, same quote. And the quote is, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. I don't know why it struck me. It struck her. I mean, it was 2 years ago that she did that program. She was drinking from the mug. I had the magnet on my fridge. And I thought, you know what? Then maybe this somewhere in this crazy universe, maybe this was something that I was just meant to do and push myself and challenge myself. And so it's kind of cool.
That's
kind
awesome.
of amazing.
I know.
And you also didn't make a fool of yourself. I think that you were quite poised and very good.
Looked beautiful.
I appreciate it. I felt bad because, actually my foot broke about 3 weeks into rehearsal. So it was broken before the first dance. And I actually didn't know that. I thought it was just a sprain or tendonitis or something. And so I was doing physical therapy and trying to get it to, I know the exact moment. I know the exact day. I said to him, I think I've got a cramp in my foot. I thought it wasn't hydrating because these guys are athletes. These ladies and gentlemen are amazing athletes, and we would rehearse 4 or 5 hours a day, and not a schedule, especially with dancing that I was used to. And we were doing the quick steps, or a lot of on your toes, moving about very quickly. And I thought I wasn't hydrating enough or something. Is what I was thinking in my brain.
Right.
And so I all at once was disappointed because I wanted to at least try. If you get sent packing because you tried and for whatever reason it just wasn't up to standard, to me that's a win because you tried. As I always tell my girls, the biggest sin is just not trying at all. You've got to do that.
Right.
So I didn't tell anybody. So I kind of wrapped it and went and just. But then I had to, I had to be fair. I had one of the greatest dancers on this show, Val, and I had to be fair to him because all of a sudden I knew we were starting to do some choreography and it was killing me. So I went for an MRI and it was broken. And so I got 2 extra weeks. I did as much physical therapy as I could, and I tried to stand in there. It was quite an amazing season to be a part of because there are still so many phenomenal dancers. And the choreography was being raised at such an exponential level, I wouldn't have been able to keep up because it, where it's broken is right where you have to bend your foot and stand on your toes. And I would have had to sit down. And so it's a little disappointing because I would have enjoyed that challenge.
Right.
But everything happens for a reason. And I'm glad that I had the time, As I said to him when we finished, we used to do these quotes, these daily mantras I'd stick up on the wall just for kicks and giggles. That's what we kind of worked into. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened, which was the amazing Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I really feel that way. I really do. I met some really amazing folks, and you don't ever feel that's the silly thing is you always see them. I've watched, and everyone's upset when they're going home, and there are tears, and I was a little emotional. Thank God they ran out of time because you don't feel like you're in competition with any other person. You really are just kind of pushing yourself. Yes, it's a competition program, and somebody is going to, be the last dancing person standing. But I never felt I was in competition with folks. And everybody backstage, up there in the boxes, you can see that those high fives and those cheers are real. You are truly rooting for everybody else because you know what they're going through.
Had you ever danced at all, like for an acting role before? Had you ever had to dance on camera?
Not in that way.
No.
Of course not. No,
we saw you do a little bit on The Facts of Life. There were some musical numbers.
With elf shoes. I really, had they let me wear elf shoes, I might have, I don't know.
This is my jam.
I would have put the fear of. No, just silly things.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I took ballet and tap, and gosh, if I had stuck with the singing lessons, I really would have loved to be a part of, in a small way, mind you, some sort of musical, because what joy a musical brings, right?
Yeah.
Sitting in the theater and watching and being transported in time and having everybody break into song at the same time and dance.
Yeah, we are big fans.
We're huge. Are you seeing anything while you're in New York? Or?
No, I'm seeing a play tonight.
What are you seeing?
Apologia.
Oh, yeah, with Stockard Channing. Beautiful. I haven't seen it yet.
Brilliant.
She's stunning.
Stockard Channing. So, of course, anytime you get to see a masterclass by an actress of that caliber, it's just so cool.
Have you done much theater? I know most of your life you spent doing film and television in LA, but have you done theater out there?
No, as a kid I would do anything I could, lots of little theater, but no. Actually, my brother believe it or not, back in the day, he got a play. He was 44th Street. He was in a play called Medea and Jason.
Right, which is how he was cast in Alice, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we were reading about that.
It opened and closed on the same day.
I mean, that's a point of pride to be in a show that opens and closes on the same day.
Yeah,
and have his poster of Joe Allen.
And he had to wear, a fig leaf. So, and the funny thing is, what most people don't know is the other young boy, the other son, was my cousin.
Oh my God, keep it all in the family.
I know. So I used to get to come in and sit in the theater while they were rehearsing after school. I would come
so
in,
cool.
and there's just something. It's like sitting in a church. For if it means something to you. So I love to go. I will go and sit in St. Patrick's. I like to go and sit when there's not a lot of folks there. Any church, just the silence and the feeling of it. It's the same thing as I got to experience sitting in the empty theater in the back during rehearsals, as a young child. So it's always been a special place for me, and I would love to come back. I would love now, as my girls are getting older, because you have to spend more time. It's more of a commitment, and then to be here. But what a dream for me that would be to be able to do some sort of theater here in New York. A total dream.
That's so exciting because we were wondering if that was something that was on your bucket list in terms of what you were looking to do next. Okay, so let's talk about roles. What are your dream roles?
No, there are none.
Nothing?
Unless it's in a musical, it's for a part of a person who actually can't sing. Then they're not going to cast me.
Okay.
So it would have to be something other. I have no set anything. I just thought at this moment in time, I've never said that out loud, I would throw it out there to the universe in my year of saying yes.
Yeah.
And see whatever comes back. It is definitely a bucket list dream of mine. I can't think of anything, in this profession. Talk about terror-inducing. but that would be great
Yeah,
too.
I would love to see you on stage. You're a good actress.
Oh, well, you're very kind.
We were literally going through your oeuvre and getting so excited, and we were reading about how, the facts of life really came together once you got onto the show, and that you were, notable for being able to cry on a dime from a young age moving forward. I don't know if you still possess that. We're not going to force you to do it, but is that something that you still have in your back pocket?
I'll cry for it if you want. It's a blessing and a curse. I think as actors, you have a toolbox. Val and I used to talk about this. He has a toolbox of his amazing talents, and for actors, we do too. And the curse is that a commercial will come on and you're bawling. Everything is sort of almost right there at the surface.
Sure.
I think everybody is an actor in varying degrees, whether you are in a church production or off Broadway, on Broadway, anywhere. If you're sitting in your car getting a ticket and you're weaving a tall tale, we're all actors, in just varying degrees, and some people get paid for it, right? And some
people are better at it than others.
Some people freeze on stage.
Sometimes, but I think it's just being able to put on a different set of circumstances and living life. I mean, it's been so great because within this profession, for the division, I got to, ride along with detectives and learn to shoot. And, you get these opportunities that are to step outside your life and have experiences that are really amazing.
Talk about the division, because it was a woman created.
Yes, Deborah Joy Levine.
Dramas with amazing people like Layla Rashawn and Lisa Vidal and Taraji P. Henson before she was who she is now.
That's right. It was her first. John Hamm.
Yeah.
And you. And it was, I don't know, I'm very into it. I sort of just got into it now.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to say, in all honesty, one of the favorite things I've ever done. I also got to direct some of the episodes, and I have to say the cast was so great. Again, just a stellar group of individuals, and some at just the beginnings of their amazingness. Taraji is just so wonderful, and what a great experience. I just loved that character so much. Lisa Vidal, of course, is just one of my besties in the world, and
she's very good.
She's just a phenomenal actress, but she's a more phenomenal human being. I'm so privileged to have her as my friend, and that was just a great time. A great experience. Bonnie Bedelia, oh my gosh.
Yeah. You've done so much. You have such I think that people probably think facts of life, but as we were digging, I was like, oh yeah, this, and oh yeah, this, and oh yeah, this. When you look back at your work, what do you feel like is your favorite performance or your favorite role, or something that maybe people didn't see enough of, but you're really proud of this movie or this show?
It's so hard to say. I think the different characters, they almost become, in the aftermath, you kind of view them, or I view them, they're almost children-like. You're possessive of them all and protective of them all, well, there's save for one or two. There's a few that could
leave behind.
So go away, and I would not be sad. Everybody makes mistakes now and again. I'll always be grateful for Facts of Life, of course. I mean, that will always be a parenthetical for me, and I don't mind that because it gave me my life.
Sure. Did you always feel that way? Did you always feel... Because Henry Winkler, I remember, said something, and my dad always reminded me of it as a young person. I don't know why, but it was one of his go-to things about how Henry Winkler was always wanted out of his contract on Happy Days, and but then when it ended, he didn't work. And I always thought that was so fascinating. And of course, Henry Winkler's having this career resurgence now, which is amazing on Barry. But I wondered if you ever did you ever feel pigeonholed by people seeing you as Joe as a young person? Because... you wanted to play other characters because you're an actor. Well,
I think you do, and those were very pivotal years, sure. I mean, a lot of changes happened in for me, those 8 years. For me, I was lucky enough. I've always been interested in other job titles in what we do. So on the off season, I would develop, and I had the great fortune of being able to produce movies of the week. So, I got to, tell the story of the first female firefighter in Los Angeles and bring up mental health issues in Strange Voices. Mm-hmm. And personal to me was A Cry for Help, which was the Tracy Thurman story. she is just an inspiring and incredible human being, and that was personal because I didn't want to let her down, and it was a challenge for me. It was bigger in scope than anything I had ever done. I got the opportunity to produce and to move into different characters in the off season. So when I went back to my family on Fax, it was fun, I think in the aftermath, back then, everything has changed now. Now you can easily and seamlessly go back and forth from all the
do
mediums,
like a Netflix show
and then go do your
theater.
films and theater, Chris Evans, and and it's more coveted now to do all of those and endorse products and do all kinds of things. Back then, it was very, those who do TV shall remain on TV, and if you're going to want to move into the movies, you shall not do TV. It was very cut and dry, So, nobody wanted to be just held back because they had a character that was a success. I mean, that's irony, isn't it? That you have this successful character and this successful show, and then you can't move on.
Right.
So it was always about trying to further being able to do what I love to do. I feel so fortunate. People accepted me in the dramas and then in the comedy, and then I bounced back to one of my favorite roles, and I wish it had been longer, was in Style and Substance with Gene Smart.
We were just talking about it this morning.
Oh my gosh, Peter Tolan was the creator.
It's funny, like, and it holds up.
We watched a fair amount of it. It's really good.
That was just the time of my life. I just loved that program.
So Gene
much.
Smart is sort of playing this Martha Stewart-like character.
Yes.
And then I know there's rumors, like, online that she was sort of unhappy with that. Do you know, like, what the deal is? Because it was not an unsuccessful, like, it wasn't like a bomb.
No, I don't know what the final story was. We heard that too, but also when we premiered, the Olympics were on, so there was 2 shows that aired, and then there was several weeks that we weren't on, and that we never got a chance to build up that following. And also too, there was regime change at the network, and whenever that happens, it's happening for a reason. So new programming was being put forth, and for whatever reasons, that's what happened to that particular program. But I'm very proud of it. Gene Smart is probably one of the funniest human beings ever.
She's spectacular.
She's great. She's another one. She can go from one to the next, and she's just in 24. She's just brilliant and a spectacular lady. In the same vein, I feel that people have been very accepting of me, either doing comedy or doing the drama side, and I'm so appreciative, because if you don't have that, if they're not watching and they don't want to see you in that, then you are stopped. Then that's where it ends, because if not for the kindness of people wanting to invite you into their living room, which is a very personal space, I realize that's such a personal space. I'm so grateful that people have been accepting to keep doing that for me.
Well, let's talk about Can't Hurry Love, which was another, like, and that was like another, but it was successful. It was like you
guys had a full year run.
We
right?
were the number one new comedy on CBS.
Like, what do you
regime
think?
change? The president changed there at the network, and
those were both CBS properties. Style and Substance and
Can't Hurry Love
were both.
Yeah,
and you were like part of the NBC family for 8 years in the 80s.
Yeah,
and you were a child star.
I have
so you
to
were
say, CBS, they were very, very good to me, and I've now ABC has been super great to me. It was that. I know Mariska Hargitay, right before she went on to start her 9 million years. Right. She's so good. I don't think
it was kind of wonderful to see her doing something so different than what we know her from.
I
was like, wow,
I
hope
that she does some sort of comedy when she feels ready to walk away from her iconic role and show. She's just got many hats on now too, and she's just so successful and so great. But that was I loved that show and had the great pleasure of bringing Charlotte Rae on and doing a little character piece on that. That was a really wonderful episode for me.
Talk about Charlotte Rae and she was a stage actress and a great actress, and like seemed like a very generous actor. Would you feel like you learned from her because it was sort of like acting class, right? You're a kid in getting to professionally act, and what did you learn from her about acting?
I'm not sure your program is long enough, but mostly, gosh, it's a little soon for me. Since we don't have her physically with us anymore. She treated us like peers. We were children, and it was her show. It was always her show in my mind. She was our true north and our star, and she treated the rest of us like peers, even though I was 14. But she gave me my life. It was her deciding vote. I did a screen test, and there was another lovely actress who was testing at the same time, and I don't know why she decided to sprinkle her beautiful dust on me, but she came down on my side, and I will forever be grateful to her, because she gave me my life, and I just feel privileged that over the years we became great and very dear friends. And it was just about a week and a half before we lost her. My daughters and I were there with her, and she came to the ranch and hung out with us out there in Texas. Her sister lives in Dallas, and so she was visiting Mimi, and then she came and spent time with us. And so ever since we stopped, we talk on the phone constantly, and gosh, when she was doing her last movie role and telling me, I have to do a scene with Meryl Streep, and I said, you go show him what it's about. You go show Meryl what it's about, And she's so dear, and she was so sweet. She had the best time, and Meryl treated her like the beautiful star that she was, and just her way. I can never explain enough how sometimes the most important things you learn are not how to be in a scene, but how to conduct yourself as a human being. Mm-hmm. And I got a master class in that for 8 years, and she will just always be my beautiful mentor and friend and guardian.
That's so lovely to hear.
It warms my heart that she was...
No, we love her. We're huge fans of her work as well. So
She's brilliant. She was brilliant. She could do anything.
She's a nightclub star, And
she could sing.
Mm-hmm.
Her comedy. I don't know. Go look her up and look at some of the older stuff. She was funny.
Yeah, no, she was...
she was funny on our show, but and then to see her in these cameos and, ER, and... she could devastate you at the same time. There are very few people that can bring all of those qualities to move you in whatever story that they're telling, and just as my friend, she was just extraordinary.
It also makes me love The Facts of Life more, because they were looking for a vehicle for Charlotte Rae, who is this character actress redhead who is now I would hope that would still happen, but I feel like the times have changed, and I love that they built a show around her and her abilities, and she shines on that show. And I also love that I read this today, that when she was leaving the show because she felt like it was getting stale and she was doing the same things, that she recommended her best friend Cloris Leachman, and I was like, I didn't know that was like I thought that was interesting. So Cloris Leachman replaced her, though, and that was the final.
Well, no, I know. So she didn't. She didn't replace her. She was, and it's funny. Yeah, she was a new character that came on, and they had gone to college together, and they were funny.
Not as loving as we might.
Well,
they were actress classmates from Northwestern.
Yeah, and who knows? There's a lot of stuff. I have to say, Cloris is she's an extraordinary person in every sense of the word. Yeah. She is. She literally is bigger than life. Mm-hmm. She just genuinely is. And of course, I was a fan. Mary Tyler Moore, of course. I grew up. I have no idea why I was watching Mary Tyler Moore, Bob Newhart show, Phyllis, Rhoda.
That's important. That's
as
important
a child. These are my show, and I think back and I think, why was I watching all these grown-ups?
That was my childhood growing up as well. I watched those same shows,
and so Valerie Harper was my mom in Strange Voices. So hello,
that's
Jack.
Incredible.
Cloris. Phyllis, check.
Wow,
You know, I mean, I
yeah.
got, you know, the only person I never met, and I wish I had, was Mary. And in the same breath, I'm almost grateful I didn't, because I just wouldn't have been able to speak, I don't think, because,
No, I
you know,
know.
she's just amazing. But Clarissa, she's an icon. I am not. She is. Charlotte is. I'm going to say is. I can't do past tense.
I mean, your whole cast
fun.
is an institution, you know, and it seems like, I don't know how often you guys all see each other or actually keep in touch, but it seems like there is a camaraderie between the four
We
of
talk
you.
all the time. Yeah, Lisa's been to the ranch. I'm going to get Mindy there. I am. But we text all the time. And I can't tell you, I genuinely was thrilled and surprised. We did the little GMA announcement, and they did a little video for me that was on GMA, and just having my back, just my gals, my sisters having my back, you know. We just spent our formative years together, literally. I mean, if you think about, you know, people have the high school reunions, that's 4 years of, you know. Now, we were together 8. They were together 9. They had a season before I joined. You know, I was 14 when I started that show. Kimmy was 9 or 10 when I first met her, 9 just turning 10. So, you know, the years that we put in, I mean, we all grew and changed so much. We are family. We are sisters. And I know that people love the, you know, maybe more of a sordid story or a drama or something, but I mean, literally, we text all the time together and talk all the time. And Kim and I were together we had the best night last night. I'm not even kidding. We went to
How much can you tell us of what you did?
We went, I can tell you everything.
Okay, yes.
We went to the Carlisle Hotel and
hell
saw
yes.
Michael McDonald.
Oh my God!
Are
you're
you
kidding
kidding me?
The Carlisle's like the swankiest place in all of New York City. It's
How iconic
Stunning.
a room.
Yep.
A.
Yep.
Okay. B. It's an acoustic set. He was playing piano and guitar. His son did a number. His wife sings backup. I mean, I'm telling you. And then we had just the extraordinary, I don't even know how this happened, extraordinary privilege of being able to say hi to him and getting to meet him. Now that Kim does, and for all of you who follow her on Instagram, she does Michael McDonald Mondays. She's been obsessed forever.
I love that about her.
And so she had gone on Saturday, or, you know, the prior Saturday, and we went last night, and she just, I mean, she could hardly contain herself. And so when she, you know, watching somebody realize a dream, I know everybody thinks it can't happen for people who are, you know, do what we do, or, I mean, but of course, we fangirl just like everybody else, you know.
Did you guys get people coming up to you when you guys are together that
sing
the theme song in your face, or
Oh, yeah.
are
How
excited
often
to see you together? Because I feel like, wow, we're not going to give you that. We're not going to give you that.
Thank you. I think it's best if you want to keep your listeners. Let's not do that to them. But yeah, I have to say, in all honesty, it's a little more intense when we're together, you know, in any form, any of us all, you know, together. But the kindness that people just are genuinely kind and want to say hi or have a picture, and you know, I have to say, being able to be greeted by smiling people, it evokes somehow, and thankfully, happy memories.
Yeah.
You know, just as it would for me if I, you know, saw somebody from Mary Tyler Moore, or, you know, or one of my shows that I watched growing up. But Carol Burnett, forget it.
No.
Oh, drop everything. When I met Carol Burnett, I just thought I was going to melt.
When did you meet her, and where?
I met her twice.
Okay.
The first time, my brother was on a show called Alice. That's what took us to California. And they had been nominated for, I believe, People's Choice or Golden Globe. I can't actually remember, but it was our very first award show. And, you know, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, and that's his money, you know, it goes away. He was on the show. So I had my I think my dress cost $12 from JCPenney, and I felt very beautiful. Very little eyelet sleeves, and I think it was green with this little fern print on it. I don't know, I've seen wallpaper that looks like that now, but I thought it was just the best dress ever. And we all got to go as a family. And so it was after the show, and we were standing out there waiting for the car, and I felt this tap on my shoulder, right? Tap on my shoulder. And I turn around, and who am I staring at? I'm staring at the amazing Carol Burnett, who says, "I just wanted to tell you that you look so beautiful and I love your dress." A $12 dress from JCPenney. That was so much money for us, you know. It was a new dress. I didn't have a lot of new clothes, and I just wanted to, I didn't know, I don't think I spoke. Cut to, I told her that story many years later. A dear friend of mine was producing a little show that she was in, and he said, just come to the studio, you know. And I said, I can't, I don't know what I'll do. And anyway, she sat down with me for about a half an hour, and we got to talk, and I'm constantly just in gratitude at the kindness of different people that I've had the honor of meeting. And so, yeah, that's my geeky fangirl thing. Carol Burnett twice.
I would pass
amazing.
out. That's beautiful.
I think I did. I'm sure that I didn't breathe.
Yeah.
So
it seems like you're a fan. We're huge fans of lots of things, but I feel like hearing you talk about acting and actors, dancers, musicians, etc., I feel like you have such an appreciation for the art and the work that people do and put in.
Oh, yeah.
So we've heard you talk about a lot of people, but can you give us, of people that you haven't met or haven't worked with, like who are your favorites that are still working and still with us? People whose work you love and admire.
And that I want to meet. Mm-hmm. I want to put that out there just in case I say their name and they're listening. I can, right. Because I will resort to stalking and some not kind stalking.
Sure.
Oh gosh, there are just so many. Off the top of my head, since we're sitting in New York City, I'll go with Lin-Manuel Miranda, Chris Jackson, and Leslie Odom Jr. I don't know what I know.
Okay.
No, I've seen every clip, every YouTube, every PBS special 12,000 times. Okay. My daughters and I, we were singing the soundtrack to Hamilton for a year and a half before we literally I had to instruct them that you are not allowed to sing along with the kind actors in the theater because the other patrons have spent a lot of money to see this play too, and they will smack you.
Right. Maybe on a final note, do you know what I'm going to say?
I don't know. Why don't you just lead right in? That sounds nice. Give me that deep eye contact that I love.
Can you sing it though? As a final note? What would that note be?
Well, I think as young queer kids, young gay kids, the Facts of Life represent something. I mean, it certainly has a gay male following, but I also feel like there is I think of you as being sort of a lesbian icon, and I'm curious if you have ever thought of yourself like that, or if you have been embraced by that, the gay community in a way that I feel like you guys are.
Or if you were aware of that at all.
I am aware of that, and characters mean what they mean. It's an individual thing, how you are drawn to a character. Why was I drawn to this single woman who worked in a newsroom, but it was just something about her essence. That character, I think, did represent a lot to a lot of people, and a voice where maybe people didn't realize or hadn't at that point thought, you know what, I can speak out here. And wanting to have a voice, everybody should have a voice. I think we're slowly getting there. I hope it continues. I hope it keeps rolling along, because nobody's voice should be silent, and nobody should feel that they can't be exactly who they are and be loved and embraced for that at every opportunity in every moment. I welcome kindness from anybody, and I'm grateful because that means they're identifying with something that I'm doing and in their personal way, and however it's embraced, I just feel that's a kindness, and I'm so appreciative. And what a joy. That's I don't know, that's how I truly feel about it. Well,
and I think we're grateful for you and that show and you being here with us today.
Oh, you guys are awesome. I love that you're just doing your thing and talking and continuing conversation, and I love that you have an outlet and an opportunity to be heard and do what you love to do. Could you imagine what a different world it would be if everybody got to do what they love to do?
We'd all be much better.
Right? Don't you think?
Lighter, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
But I think this, for you, I feel like people are gonna see more of your dramatic chops.
Yeah, we're gonna bring you back to Broadway. Yeah, back to New York City.
All right, yay, groundswell.
So, thank you, Nancy McKeon.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much,
TV
guys.
icon, queer icon, Nancy McKeon.
I'll take any icon I can get, and I say that with a heart full of gratitude.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thanks.
interview was true to light. I have to say, listeners, you may have heard like a little ding or like a text message ding in the background. That was because in the middle, or I should say at the end of our interview with Nancy McKeon, her best friend opened the door and was like, Nance.
Hey, Nance.
And then she came in and we paused to say like, okay, no problem. Feel free to hang out. And then her phone was dinging and we both were very tickled by it. And her best friend is also an actress and happened to be like really warm and really funny. Her name is Melanie Smith. We will for sure have her as a guest on the podcast at some point. But she's a soap actress. She is on Seinfeld and Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Melrose Place and As the World Turns. And
had like a storied, career as a young woman, and also now currently works as a life coach. And I'm thinking that we might need to utilize her services. If she's willing to come in and do an interview with us, maybe we can like do a dual interview /session.
Absolutely. That was a real joy, though, to get to meet her as well, because it was fun to see Nancy in that environment, also like with the comfort of like her best friend and not two weirdos that were in her hotel room chilling.
Things that maybe you didn't get to catch from the podcast include the moment where Damian suggested that when Charlotte Rae wanted to leave the Facts of Life, that she got her own replacement with her best friend, Cloris Leachman. And when Damian said that, Nancy McKeon silently cringed and cocked her head to the side with one eye closed.
And I just kept moving on because I forgot we were recording a podcast. And I was like, well, that's off the topic. And Anne did a good job of being like, okay, so maybe they aren't like quite as close as, we didn't get the full story about it, but it's,
It does seem clear that they were not pals.
But they went to Northwestern together, both acting students.
My memory is that I think Paul Lynde was also in that class. There were like a lot of people in Chicago at that time, and there's like a lot of weird connections from that crew. But whether or not they were pals remains to be seen. But she didn't prevent Cloris Leachman from getting the gig. It was an interesting little side bit, a little moment off camera, if you will.
I guess the last note is like, between you and me, I don't think she thinks that Nancy does not think of herself as a queer icon, which is interesting because I think of her as one.
I do too, and I feel like it was one of the first like coded things that I saw on TV. Even the Facts of Life was a little bit before our time. The reruns, and from my older brother, who was super hot for Joe, I was just picking up on all of her dykey energy on that show. And I thought for sure that Nancy would know that lesbians around the world were feeling her from day one. And she seemed a little bit like maybe she hadn't acknowledged that in the past. I don't know.
But we were very into her. She was very warm, very gracious. I loved that she had such a love for the theater.
She was going to see Stockard Channing and Apologia that evening with Melanie. That's right.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Please rate, subscribe, review us on the Apple Podcast app.
Yep, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Please do, at Damian Bellino and at Rodemanne. That's Rodemanne. And also just keep shouting out to us actresses that you want to hear on the podcast and any other Joe-related dykey memories that you have from the Facts of Life that you'd like to share. We want to hear those too.
Blair and Joe forever. Might Know Her From is produced by Damian Bellino and Anne Rodemanne. Special thanks to Jason Jude Hill and Daniel Sears, our consultants at Grumpy Films. Editing also by Daniel Sears.
All music by Gang. You can find Gang on iTunes and Reverb Nation. That's reverbnation.com/gang. For a complete list of titles and names we mentioned, check out the show notes for each episode description.
Bye, guys.
Bye.